My name is Stephanie Pisano. I am a clinical optometrist and associate professor at The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center in the Department of Ophthalmology. I presented a poster on a case series of 3 patients where I used a calculation from a peer-reviewed paper from 2019 that talked about how we can use scleral lens parameters, keratometry readings, to calculate what the patient's IOL should be placed in surgery so that the same patient can wear their scleral lens they wore pre-surgically, post-surgically. And this can be very valuable to the patients that have ocular surface disease because, as we know, these patients really rely on their scleral lens devices to function visually, but also from a symptom standpoint, treatment of their ocular condition, and quality of life. So in this paper from 2019, this research group developed an equation to use certain parameters where you work with the ophthalmologist that's doing the cataract surgery to calculate the end goal of the patient's intraocular lens that's placed. All of these patients that were in the initial study in 2019 were ocular surface disease patients that had graft versus host or another ocular surface disease condition. They all improved their vision to 20/25 or 20/20 with that equation. And the lens, the same pre-surgical lens, fit great post-surgically, and they were able to resume lens wear much quicker. The 3 patients in this case series, I used a BostonSight SCLERAL mainly because the parameters are very easy to derive and it's a very straightforward equation using this. The equation requires you to have keratometry readings, the base curve of the scleral lens, and the power of the scleral lens. Once you have those items, you can input them into an equation and then it will yield the target IOL power to provide to the surgeon. BostonSight SCLERAL, the base curve and the power are very consistent and reliable from a calculation standpoint. And that is what's really needed for using this equation for cataract surgery is you have to make sure the numbers and the values you're pulling from that scleral lens are repeatable and reliable, and you're going to yield the same results repeatedly. That will yield a good outcome for the patient. The biggest thing is to be aware that this calculation exists. This can be a huge help to our patients so they can get back into their scleral lenses much faster. Many ophthalmologists are not aware this equation exists. So that's kind of the first step, is just communicating to them the research that's published and outcomes and how this can be helpful to their patient. This case series kind of highlighted the value of BostonSight in that the parameters and the lens design are very consistent and repeatable and very reliable from a mathematical standpoint. This calculation is 100% on you having the right values and the right parameters to put in because you are ultimately determining the outcome of a cataract surgery. So when we did this math, it was very helpful to have all of those values in FitConnect that we could pull up very easily and make sure that we were all calculating everything correctly.